Welcome, welcome, welcome to you all to my mastermind. My name is Lise, and my mastermind is on what do cheesecakes have to do with grieving? It was April 18th, 2020, the most devastating day of my life. My mom was in a lockdown hospital in Calgary, and due to the pandemic, I couldn't go be with her. Only one person was allowed to be with her, and I was 3 hours away, and my younger sister went because she was only 2 hours away because she had a call from the doctor that she was having an end of life event, so each moment counted. I was not allowed to be with her because there was only one person allowed. It was extremely difficult. The issue was how to bring people together during this pandemic after we lost my mom, basically. So one of the things that I did was I thought, I want to help as many people as possible because these are critical times and I needed to do something extraordinary. So I want to tell you a story about I remember the times when we used to get together with my mother and we used to have family gatherings. One of the things that she used to make was cheesecakes. Well, it raspberry cheesecakes to boot. We grew our very own raspberries. We had our own cows, so we got our cream from the cows. And it wasn't an everyday event. It was very special to get cheesecakes. But I tell you, when she made that cheesecake, it absolutely tasted like heaven. So it took time for us to actually get all the ingredients because you could only get the raspberries in the summertime. And the cows, well, we gathered the milk and the cream and stuff. But, anyways, what we had to do was we had to gather all the ingredients in order to make it. Now, what the heck does this have to do with cheesecakes? Well, I'm going to tell you something. When she passed away, I froze. I literally froze. I felt stuck. I couldn't move. I couldn't do a thing. And I really, really needed to just tune into my power, where I was at, and where I needed to go. And basically, my lifeline to this life had gone forever. And I needed to really, really take care of myself. Despite my physical transition to this world, I couldn't, I could still feel her essence with me. So, with that, in order to make sense of what was going on, I needed to take a personal inventory of my emotional state. I needed to know exactly where I was at and where I was going because for days and days on end, I was crying my eyes out in shock, in pain, and in acute grief. And I thought to myself, I don't want other people to go through this. So what I did was I started taking inventory about where I was at, where I was going, and what I needed to do to heal myself. So what I did was I created an inventory. I'm going to find it here for you and share it with you right away. I have it here. Whoops, I don't know. Stop sharing. I want to share my screen with you so you can actually see the questions that I utilized while I was grieving. And it's incredible because this made all the difference in the world. So just have a look here at all the questions, like who was the person that passed away? It was my mother. My mother. And when did this occur? April 18th, 3:30 in the morning. Were there complications with the passing? Yes. My mom had an internal bleed, and because of the pandemic, she could only have one person in the room. What were the circumstances of the passing of my loved ones? Like I said, pandemic caused a lot of grief, and she was out of town, which was another issue. And how did this affect my life? Well, it turned me for a total loop of my life. I was actually totally devastated by the loss. And basically, how have you experienced the loss? Well, any significant changes in my life? Well, basically, is significant because my mother had passed away this year. My dad passed away 20 years ago. And the complications with all of this, my mom died in March, my cousin in April, my best friend in in May, and then my brother coming to my mom's funeral had a massive heart attack. And my son basically what he did, he tried to revive him by giving him CPR, and he passed away as well. So I had 4 deaths in 3 months, and that was excruciating. It was one significant issue after another. But losing my mom was a matriarch of our family, 9 kids, and it changed everything. So, how have I been behaving since this began? Well, I was very isolated. I didn't talk to a lot of people. I kept to myself. And I saw a therapist, of course, and started doing different things to help myself out. But the inventory piece was I knew I had to take an inventory because I'm a trained social worker. And this is some of the stuff that we do. So I was really emotionally fixated on her and, transitioning on. I could feel her essence. I was dreaming about her. I was feeling anger. I was feeling frustrated. I was feeling all the emotions. So physically, I wasn't eating much. Like I was fasting the days that she passed, and I fasted for a couple of more days. And you know what? I think that helped me because I was so out of it. It felt like my body. I felt pain in my chest, like, and pleasure. I got pleasure from going for my walks, being in the sun, praying a lot, meditating, singing, doing whatever I had to do. And it affected me spiritually as well. But I knew I had to keep the faith, but I had dreams about her. And I dreamt that she was with my dad and they were happy. So you know what? That really helped me to calm myself down. And my dreams actually helped me to transcend some of my pain. And how do I feel about myself? Like now I feel really awesome about myself because I'm able to help others to transition their pain. And also, what kind of supports did I have? I actually talked to a therapist online. I had friends, of course, helping me out. My family were kind of distant at the time. There was all kinds of complications around that. And we won't get into that. There was some arguments, of course, like every family. My mom had like 9 kids. There was like 6 of us. And of course, there's going to be some issues, 6 of us left, aside from me. So that's 7 of us. And then basically, it did affect my entire life completely. So, because my lifeline is no longer here, I really feel it's important that we continue our lives in a good way. So, I would like you to do this inventory right now. We're going to take 20 minutes to do this. And then I want you to think about where you're at and where you're going and see if this helps you to transcend some of your grief. I hope you found this very helpful and in getting your work done. Was this helpful? Okay, I'm going to go into the next part of the mastermind here. And the next part, we're going to go into the next tool. I need to grab that here. So what we're going to do, number one, is oopsie. Go back here. Okay, so basically, I like this purple background picture. Reason why is because my mother loved these kind of flowers. She loved purple, and violets were her favorite. So in honor of her life, I thought I would put these on. So basically, the next story I want to tell you about is about cheesecakes and unconditional love. My mother was truly a master of making cheesecakes. Oh my goodness. These cheesecakes were a staple in our family, especially at gatherings. And it felt like she made these with unconditional love. You could just tell because of the taste of it. It was so heavenly. She put all the ingredients together, and once you tasted it, it was just like out of this world. It's just like, how did she make this luxurious, delicious food that just really melted in your mouth? And you couldn't stop at one, also have to have two or three pieces, It made you feel like you were loved and that you were eating something delicious. And the afterglow, it was like something that I experienced, something, the best thing in my life, basically. So what she did was my mom put all of her energy into making the best and the most incredible cheesecake. And she not only put her energy in there, but she also put her love, her dedication, and also what she was as a human being. It spoke to her level of care, her servant leadership, because she always worked so hard. And it didn't matter who you were or anything like that coming into her house, you were going to eat something and you were going to have probably a coffee or a tea or something like that. Because that's the way my mother was. She was the matriarch and she was an unstoppable woman. She was a farm wife of 9 children who worked extremely hard, and she was there to always ensure us that we were safe and secure and made everyone feel appreciated and loved. She was basically a gardener. She loved to help provide for other people. She'd always share whatever she had. We were a part of the church, and she always cooked for bake sales. She also helped to make a bunch of blankets to go overseas. That's the kind of woman that my mom was. And in the community, she was known as a very kind woman who was always there to give of herself. And she gave whatever she could. My mother never ever complained, even if she was in pain. So, being a steward in life and being a master of self sufficiency, because in 1955, when she got married, there was no internet, there was no classes of how to do this, how to do that. She became her own self master. She learned how to make bread. I tell you, the first batch of bread was pretty much hard like pucks. That's the stories that we heard. But she was a beautiful human being. And I want you to write down all the gifts that your loved one had and left and etched in your heart. Please take a moment and write that down. All the gifts of your loved ones. So I'm going to put this on again, and you can just take some time and think about all the gifts that your loved ones had. So I have a list here of some of them here, and this is some of them. I'm going to read them, and you can continue on working. But 15 steps to become great in life. Be proactive and live intentionally. Tap into your power of positive thinking and work to live with an abundant mindset. Set goals for success. Apply the concept of compounding in your life, adding all those good things into your heart. Keep building them up and up and up and up. Manage your spending and live within your means. A lot of times people spend way too much. Explore your income. So you know what? You can actually make money in different types of ways. Be self-sufficient. You can work at bake sales. You can do all kinds of things. Home businesses are a way to go nowadays. Get your diet right. Eat healthy. Lots of vegetables and fruits. Beef vitality. Exercise and get your blood flowing. Learn how to become a better learner. I'm still learning at my age, and I'm 57. My mom was a learner to the day she died, and you know what? She even learned how to use a computer, especially her iPad. She loved it. The other thing, too, is learn emotional intelligence and how to cultivate strong relationships. You know what? You don't need a lot of money to have strong relationships. Just be who you are and be a servant leader. Understand it's okay to say, I don't know. And you know what? I've done that a lot of times because I don't know a lot about engineering, but I do know about, you know, social relations and how to create relationships. The other thing, too, is that understand that you can remove the noise, all the noise around us, and focus on what really matters to you. And the next thing is network with mentors and those who are more experienced than you are. You know what? Go to the masters, talk to them, learn from them. You know what? The libraries are great for that. If you don't have a mentor, go find one through the libraries. Find balance in work, play, and rest. And you know what? Those are keys to having a great life. So if you implement this in your life, you should have a good life. So, did you finish your exercise? Okay. So the next part of this, I'm just going to turn the music off here. I'll go into the next part here. Is about creating a ceremony. We couldn't have funerals during that time. And I felt so unsettled in my grief. It was crazy. I felt like I was so stuck and I needed to do something to honor my mother. Waiting all that time, it just was excruciating for me. So I spoke to my counselor and I said to her, I need a breakthrough or something because this pain, feeling stuck like this and waiting and thinking, what can I do to make things better? So she said, why don't you take the ball in your own hands? And you know what? That kind of gave me the license, do my own thing. So what I did was I created a ceremony myself. I had a bonfire outside. I created a feast and, I played my drum. I sang songs and I honored my mother this way. It was absolutely wonderful. So one thing that really helped me was to get my control back, was to follow through on all of this. It's the most important thing that you can do for your life, is to take control of where you feel stuck and move yourself forward. What can you do to help to move your family forward in this time? Maybe it's having a picnic. Maybe it's going to the park. Maybe it's having a gathering with some people to talk about some of these things. Like, and that's exactly what I did, and that really, really helped me. So I created the ceremony, which was really, really important. The next thing I did was have a feast. The feast was very important for me, and I needed to do something significant that would honor her. So I made her favorite food. And her favorite food was, my mom loved her stews, so I made some stew. My cousin made some bannock. My mom liked bannock too. And then I made some sucre à crème. My mom is French, and sucre à crème, all it is sugar and cream mixed together for hours, and then you let it sit in the fridge, and it's super, super sweet. So those are the things that I did, and we offered some of that food to the fire to feed her spirit. And that was very, very helpful for us. I felt like my life was really at a point where I was honoring my mother, and I was doing the things that I needed to do to shift my pain. This helped me to free my own spirit as well as to heal a little bit more that day. So I was going to tell you that there are alternatives to funerals. There are things that you can do that you don't need to have funerals. You can do something else. And I'm going to grab my tool here, and I'm going to, well, I'll talk to you about it right here. So you can actually create a shrine in your house. You can hold a birthday party or anniversary memorial. You create a ceremony at the grave site. You can spread the ashes wherever you want. You create a new tradition. You can skip the church and the funeral home. You can plant a tree. That's what I did, was I planted a tree. I created a memorial book. This is the memorial book that I created. And I went through Vista Prints with this. And this took me over 100 hours to do. And basically, here's my mom's name and everything. And the booklet has a tribute letter that I wrote to her, a thank you letter. I couldn't write a goodbye letter. I did a tribute letter, and I thanked her for all the things she did for me in my life. And then I did her lifeline. Basically, this red part is her lifeline. And then pictures of her when she was younger. I don't know if you can see it yet. I think you can see there. And then we went into her younger years, and then her older years as well. And here's the marriage of my parents. She was married at 18 years old. In 1955, she got married. Or actually, she was 17. And she had her first child at 18. That's right. So this is, I don't know why that's not showing up. Okay. Her family pictures. This is of her family at her 80th birthday. And then I started it like from all of her children. And then each family member, all the kids had a page each. So I enlisted my family members. There's 9 kids. There was only 7 of us left, and everybody had their pictures put into this booklet. And then there was also a section for the grandchildren. So there was 7 of us left, and then there was the grandchildren, which was 11. Here are the grandchildren. And then they had a quarter page each. Now, so that's the rest of the pages of all the grandchildren. I know it's kind of hard to see from there, but the back of the page, I had another picture of her with her favorite colors, purple, and it says "A life well lived." So that was really a wonderful thing that I did through Vista Print, and they did it all online. I didn't need to go anywhere. And they put celebration of life here, which was really a nice piece of work. So the other thing too that I did was I had some jewelry made. I had a purple piece of jewelry that was actually quite beautiful. You can do that. There's all kinds of ideas there of how to honor your loved one. So the last piece to this was we had a campfire. Did some storytelling. That evening, we did a lot of storytelling about a lot of the different things that my mom used to do. And it was a time where we could actually share what happened in our families. So we did have a Zoom meet with our family, and we were able to view her body. And that's how we had to do it, was through viewing. But after that, I did have a campfire at my home, and it was wonderful because I was able to share stories with some of my relatives, and we went through Zoom, and it was a very good way to share and also celebrate her life. So with that, that's what this whole cheesecake has to do with grief because it was a significant part of my mom's life. And I want to share with each and every one of you this information because it truly made a difference in my life. And I know it can make a difference in your life by applying these tools, especially to move that grief forward. So I want you to take a few minutes and I want you to think about your ceremony. I want you to think about how you can honor them with their favorite foods. If you'd like to take another 10 minutes and then we can wrap up. So I'll put 10 more minutes of music on, then we can wrap up and that'll be wonderful. hope this was helpful, and I hope that you and your family can heal. My question to you is, do you want to stay where you're at, or do you want to move forward? This here information is to help to move you forward. The only way to move forward is by taking action on some of the different exercises that you've started to implement them, and take massive action every day, because you are in charge. You have the ability to heal yourself. You can move mountains, and don't let anybody say anything different. You deserve the best life ever. You are worthy. Your loved one wants you to live the most outstanding life ever. And I want that for you too, because we were born to live out our most optimal life. Our loved ones are watching over us, and they want us to have the best life ever. That's my goal, my dream, for each and every one of you to rise up, because at some point we're going to be in the same situation our parents are in, or our loved ones are in. How do we want the next generation, our children, grandchildren, to deal with these kind of things? We don't want them stuck. So it's imperative that we learn how to deal with all of this, how to manifest our goals and dreams, how to walk through. We are in charge of our own destiny, and we have to take some control with the help of others. That's why we're here. We're here to help each other to move ourselves forward. Each one of us have it within each of us to step in the light, to be the light out of darkness for people, and to be the best that we can be every day. Thank you all for attending this mastermind. I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I wish you all the best in your journey. High five to each one of you for taking action and coming here today. Have a great day and be optimal. You are the best. You deserve the best. And remember to make your own cheesecakes, because in life, sometimes we have to create our own recipes and make it with the love and the passion that your family, your friends, and community deserve. Have a great day, everyone. You are the ingredient.